Finally, a brand new comedy on Channel 4. This is called Lee and Dean. And in much the same vein as Save Me, this is going to be on the TV on a weekly basis, but all on All 4 after the debut on Friday night at 10 o'clock. Mockumentary in the same vein as This Country or The Office, maybe, about two people who run a building firm. Their names are Lee and Dean. They are very close. There's the pieces to camera, the talking heads, and it's about their life and what happens when Lee becomes romantically involved and subsequently engaged and pushes Dean aside. And I had high hopes for this. You saw it at a trailer at Edinburgh and said it was promising.
Yeah. We had the comedy one from Channel 4. I think we had 3 clips. I can't remember what one of them was. One of them was Derry Girls and one of them was this. And of the 3, this was the one where we all went, yeah, that's quite funny. And it was the scene, I think, at the start when they were introducing like the members of the building team and things like that, like Little Dean and Midnight and people like that.
Yeah.
And
the trailers that Channel 4 had been trading made it look like something that I would enjoy. I do love the mockumentary style of This Country, probably the best example of that in recent memory. However, I found this a little bit less disciplined and a bit more all over the place than This Country.
The humour is a bit more laddish.
But as far as storytelling, I thought it was a bit disconnected and a bit all over the place and a very basic. So much so that I felt the need to ask Matt to watch the second episode, which I did as well. I think it was unfair to judge a comedy of this style on just the opening episode, but the story doesn't really hold together overly well. I don't ever.
It almost feels like they've done, and I said this about Derek as well, that they've done the documentary format because it's easier to handle the exposition. With This Country, the documentary style makes sense. They explain it at the start why they're doing the documentary. That this week's episode, This Country in particular, sees them address the camera.
Do you not get bored of this? I appreciate you got a job to do, but does it not get a bit boring just following us to about... Who is this even aimed at? Because no one we know watches it.
I did like some of this. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I felt it's got a sort of a charm to it. I didn't find it offensive ever. I mean, the insinuation that Dean, who's the sort of the dimmer one, is in love with Lee. Lee is the sort of the popular, the smart one, the one who has all the success with the ladies. Some of the bits aren't really well explained, but there's certain gags that really
that's how I felt. Yeah.
I mean, a woman in a shop mobility scooter stuck in a pub door will never not be funny.
What did he say? She's got her fags or something, yeah.
She's got a drink, she's fine.
Yeah.
And then they're dancing around later on. I just thought, that made me laugh. There are certain bits which genuinely made me laugh. There was enough jokes in each episode, but I don't think everything hung together.
Basically, that's exactly how I feel.
I think you believe the world, but I don't think the story hangs together, and there are some good gags.
There isn't really a story.
I preferred this. I have to say, I preferred the first 2 episodes of this to the first 2 episodes of Derry Girls. Maybe that's just me, but a lot of people were praising Derry Girls when that started, and it took me to the end of the series to really get what they were talking about. Whereas here, I think I enjoyed it more on sort of first impressions were better than Derry Girls for me, for Lee and Dean.
It didn't feel really of this time in a weird way.
Yeah.
It sort of felt like akin to something like Phoenix Nights and things like that. It sort of felt
like 10 years too late.
It wasn't in 2018 at all.
No, I get that. But at the same time, a lot of these sort of characters do exist in the world. But I know what you're saying. It feels like... I think the style of it, the mockumentary style of it, is reminiscent of the documentaries, the docusoaps they used to make in the late 90s.
Yeah, but we know that format still works, a la This Country.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I can see why Channel 4 are putting this all on box sets. Sometimes we go, well, why would they do that? This does work well in that context because you can just, if you enjoyed it like we did, you could just go on and watch all 6 and be done. And I don't know, much like Damned earlier on in the year, I don't know how well I'll remember this next week.
It's quite forgettable, as you forgot to talk about it.
I did genuinely forget about it.
And also, I watched it on Saturday. We're recording on Tuesday, but it hasn't stuck with me in the way other things have in that period of time. But
I tell you what will be interesting is how it is perceived when everybody's seeing it, and whether it becomes this big thing like This Country did, or whether it doesn't go on people's radars at all.
And Derry Girls, which seems to have been very popular on social media.
It feels to me, and again I might be going too deep, like Channel 4 commissioned this and said, right, off you go, and just gave them no help and let them get on with it.
Well, I did feel
like it needed a bit of guidance.
I think that's what I think that is what happened, because I remember them telling the story of like seeing like a spec scene and thinking, oh, this is really funny, and just let them get on with it to an extent. I'm sure there was guidance.
It didn't feel like there was enough
discipline.
Yeah, discipline's a great word for it. Friday night, 10 o'clock, Channel 4 for Lee and Dean.